Enigmatic-E.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to be going over how to get some heavy style and consistency with Comfyui. If you're not familiar with Comfyui, I do have a tutorial on how to get started. The link should be above right here. And you can go check that out first if you're not familiar with how this works. So I'm going to include the workflow in the description so you can find it there. But I really want to explain the parameters because then later a lot of people will be asking me questions and I just can't answer all the questions. So I'm going to try to explain things the best I could so that there's not as many questions once you get this workflow. But before we get started, check this out. As you can probably guess, I spend a lot of time online and I'm always looking for ways to protect my data and my privacy. That's why I'm so excited to be partnering with NordVPN. NordVPN is a leading VPN provider that helps you stay safe and secure online. With NordVPN, you can encrypt your internet traffic, protect your privacy, and access restricted content. And right now, NordVPN is having a Black Friday deal. You can get up to 65% off your NordVPN subscription for the 2-year plan and up to 60% off the 1-year plan. Plus, for my viewers, you get 4 free months of NordVPN. I highly recommend you checking it out and taking advantage of the special offer. You can use my affiliate link below in the description to get the best possible deal, so don't miss out. All right, so this is the workflow, and I'm gonna go over all the parameters right now. I know that looks like it's kind of a lot, but hopefully once I explain it, it's not too overwhelming. So, all right, we come here at the beginning. Up here is where you load your videos. So we have a few parameters here. We have frame load cap, basically how many frames you want to actually generate. So if you put 10, it's going to generate 10. I recommend if you're experimenting, you keep this around 10, 15 if you want, just to see what your animation is going to look like. And you don't have to run the whole entire thing, especially if you got a long video. You don't want to like generate 100 frames and then find out that it looks like crap, right? So yeah, so I would start like with 10 skip frames. This is pretty much where the generations are going to start. So like, let's say your video has 100 frames, but you don't want to generate the whole thing. You want it to generate from like half of that video. So instead of going 0, you go 50 so that it does from 50 to 100. If you leave it at 0, it's going to do everything. Like it's going to generate everything. So for both of these. And then you got select every nth frame, which is like if you put 1, it's going to generate every single frame of the video. If you put 2, it's going to generate every other frame. If you put 3, every third frame, and so on and so forth. Pretty self-explanatory. You load a video in here, and we're gonna experiment a little bit to see the results we get with this. But for now, I'm just kind of going over the settings, right? You got your width and height. These numbers are gonna depend really on your GPU. You know, if you don't have a strong enough GPU, then you're gonna run into issues, gonna have like out of memory errors. You have to just be aware of, you know, the aspect ratio of your video, and then try to put the numbers that align with that aspect ratio. Like for Reels, I typically do like 720 by 1280. But if this is too much for you, then you can obviously go lower. You just gotta make sure that these are the same aspect ratio as the original videos. I think checkpoints are pretty self-explanatory. You get a checkpoint, whatever it is that you wanna use. So I do have to let you know that I created this workflow working with 1.5 models. So if you are using an Excel model, then there's a lot of things in this workflow that have to change, and it's also not going to give you the same results. So I do recommend you only use 1.5 models for this workflow. I have here 2 LoRa's that I'm using. You don't have to use 2 LoRa's. If 2 LoRa's is too much, or if you just want to, you know, bypass the LoRa's, you can just come here, put 0, and then 0 here. It's going to bypass this LoRa. Sometimes when you have the LoRa's with the high strength, your LoRa's will make your image look really bad. So just be aware that you might have to lower these, maybe 0.5 or 0.8. If you're having like issues with the image, then play around with these parameters because that might be the reason why you're getting like a really bad image. So skip frame will really depend on what kind of checkpoint you're using, because when you come to civitai.com and you see some information about the model, you see right here, it says skip 1, and this other one, you don't really see that here. However, if you come down to some of the images, like for example, this one, it'll give you a bunch of information oftentimes. And like right here, skip 2. Yeah, so whatever it recommends, then I would put that here. I would put -1 or -2. Also, if you notice that your image is looking not so contrasted, this might be the reason why it doesn't look so good because of this. So just be aware of that. Coming here to Animatediff loader, for me, stabilized high has been the best one for me. I've been getting the best results for this specific kind of animation, at least for like character consistency. I will include a link to where you can download this specific one in the description below so that you can download it. And all you gotta do is put it into your whatever folder you have, your Animatediff, and then model, and then put it in there so that you can access it here. Also, FreeU also really improved my image quality. It really made a difference. Actually will show you an example right here. So I'm going to test this out without the FreeU so you can see the difference with and without it, so that we can kind of understand what's going to be happening. And right here we have this image. I'm trying to make this image of like Snoop Dogg, but I'm using this guy as like a reference. I have some Controlnets there, and so like if I run it like this, you know, these are the ugly results we're getting. Probably because a little bit of the LoRa's, but then we can always mess around with the parameters to make it look cleaner. And then we're going to try it with FreeU and see how much of a difference it makes too. So here I'm going to just bring up the steps a little bit higher. Let's see what that does. Okay, it improves it slightly, gives a little bit more little details there. Let me bring the CFG to 5 and then see what that is. Cleaning it up a little bit more. What if I bring the denoising a little bit down as well? Okay, yeah, there's some details there, right? All right. So, you know, it looks pretty good. I mean, it can be better, but what happens if I put the FreeU in there? And I got the FreeU parameters from the FreeU GitHub page, and right here it tells me like for 1.5 model to put these numbers in there. So that's what's in the node that is in this workflow. And then let's just put this in here. Let's see how much it changes it. It cleaned it up drastically, and just look at the difference. Yeah, FreeU is super important. Another thing that I have here, there are two things that I have here that are really helping me with the consistency. Obviously the LoRa, the FreeU, and then the IPAdapter. And I want to give props to the guy who developed this. Actually, he goes by Latent Vision on YouTube. Definitely follow him. He goes more into depth with, you know, how this works. Check out his tutorials. He goes like really in depth, and he also shows like when he does like updates to this. IPAdapter is just amazing, and like I just want to give recognition to this person because they did an amazing job with that. Like it makes things so much easier. And I'm gonna show you what it does. It's pretty much you know, I like to think of it as kind of like a LoRa, like an instant LoRa, or references an image. So let me just set this up really quick so that you can see what's happening. I have this set up right here. It's going to be in the workflow as well so that you can see it. And I'm going to put, like, I'm going to use this reference image that I already have here. So you put an image. Here you have the weight and the noise. Let's just test it out, how it is, and just see how it changes things, right? All right, so you see that it gave it a little bit of the tint of the color that you see here. What if I put the weight all the way to, let's say 1, and let's see how much of a difference it makes. You see now it's way stronger. What if I bring the denoising up? Let's see how much that changes. Okay, so this is good for like getting style, or like, for example, this, like the colors that you're seeing here, you're starting to see it here. And I'm telling you all this because we're gonna piece it all together later on with this workflow. So I'm just kind of showing you with one image how this is what's happening here. You can do this as like colors, but you can also do it with faces. So let me see. All right, so I have this image here, but I think, let me see, you have to see what it's actually going to generate. All right, so yeah, it looks at his face. So okay, so it's not making much of a difference. When you bring the weight down, it's going to follow more of the prompt. If you put this higher, it's going to try to follow the image a lot more. There's also different models that you can use here in the IPAdapter section. You can try this thing called face, where it will look at the face and try to match the face more. So if you try that, it's matching a little bit more of what's happening here. Since his face is bright here, it's making his face even brighter here. Also, the face is it's not facing the same way. So obviously that has a lot to do with it too. Okay, I think this is the best example I could find right here. Like it literally got this guy's hair piece right here. Like you can mess around with linear, and it's gonna give you different results. Yeah, linear, channel penalty. Yeah, this is really, really cool. So for these, I think it's better to have like close-ups of the face so that it can really see the face. But you have some other options you have for some Excel models as well. Let's try like something like this, right? Something that doesn't even look like the person, and just see what kind of results we get from this, right? So you're starting to see some of the influence from this image on here, like a little bit of that gold right there. This is really where it gets kind of fun and interesting, because if you start using this on a video, then you can really get that really strong style. Like if you're doing something like that's metallic, and then you put like an image as a reference that's metallic, like right here, then you start to see some really interesting stuff. Try to get some stronger weight in there. Let's see if it doesn't ruin it. You see, now it's really taking over. You put this a little bit higher, and then you change some of these parameters like the weight type. You're also gonna get different results with this. So this is how I was able to accomplish something like this with that exact same image. And look at how like metallic this looks. It looks so clean. So this is, again, this is a useful tool that you can use. So I have that in here. I have the FreeU node in here. And I also have a face restore. This is not necessary. You can actually remove this if you want. You can keep it. Sometimes it gives me decent results, not always. Let's just test out everything so you can see what's really happening. Let's say I put this here, and let's see what kind of different results I'm gonna get. It smoothed its face out quite a bit. And if I bring this down, it's gonna smooth it even more. And it's probably gonna make it not look like him the more I add this. So yeah, and then the higher I bring it, the less the effect you're gonna see. Okay, so let me try it without it. Okay, so that's it does clean it up a little bit. So it's not necessary. If you want to use it, it's there. If not, you can always just take it off. Here I have Controlnets. Depending on your GPU, you would have to see if your computer can handle 3 Controlnets. I typically use 3. And you have to also be aware of what footage you have. So like in this case, in this footage here, there's not a lot of details, but I do want the AI to generate something. Like if I want him to wear a tank top, I want it to kind of make a tank top here, and not follow these little wrinkles that you see around his neck from his hoodie or whatever he's wearing, this jacket. So in that case, I don't want a lot of, like, I don't want the art line or even the soft edge to be too strong. So I did have it pretty low. I have it at 0.30. I also have the depth pretty low. I have it around the same amount, 0.30, 0.27. But I do have the open pose really strong, because the open pose, it's not tracking, it's not paying attention to the shape of everything. It's just tracking the body and the way the body is moving. So it's really just getting like a skeleton and not really the details. So this one I do have it boost up so that it can follow the body a lot easier. If, for example, like if you do have footage where you want it to look like, for example, let's just say it's somebody who's dressed up as a pirate, and you want the actual generation to be like a pirate, and you want all those little details, then in that case I would boost up a lot of the, you know, if you have line art as a control net, I would boost up the line art. I would boost up the soft edge. I would boost up things where it really does match the person like very closely. But if not, then I would try to bring these low. Also be careful to not bring these too low, because then you will be lacking a little bit of consistency, because it's going to have less to go off of. So the lower the control net, the less control you'll have of the final generations. Keep that in mind. All right, so let's just test this out, right? Let's do something with this. This is a square, so I'm gonna have to, let me just make this 720 by 720. I'm gonna use this Snoop Dogg Laura that I trained. So now I'm just going to come here and I'm just gonna cap it at 10 so that I don't have to be waiting for too long. And this is the animation I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna be using this video. Doesn't really look like Snoop Dogg, but you know, for me, that's kind of the point, to kind of stylize something. So let's just try that. Let's see what kind of results we get. All right, so this is the results I got. I don't think Snoop would ever wear something like this. I mean, maybe the tank top, yeah, but like, yeah, probably not something like this. But the only reason you're seeing this is because like the pants are like skin tight, so that's why it's really kind of getting that. But obviously with the settings, you can probably, I could have make that go away with the negative prompts and stuff. But as you can see, the face is not so clear because it's like a far shot. If I had a close-up, the face would look a lot cleaner. There is a technique that like a guy who I know who's been messing around with Comfyui. He found a way to actually upscale the face and put it back into the body and make it look so clean. But that person is going to be sharing that workflow at some point, maybe. And I asked him if it was cool if I shared it, and he said yeah, but at the moment he's asking me to wait. So when the time comes, I will definitely share it with you guys. Also, I boosted up the resolution pretty high up there. If I lower it, let me actually lower it to see what kind of results I get if I were to lower it. But I did mess around with the denoise. I brought the denoise a little bit down. The CFG is kind of low. The steps, I have it at 30. So this is something that I would play around with a little bit, the denoising, because sometimes when you have it too strong, then it kind of veers away from the actual original video. Because obviously it does have the help of the Controlnets, but stuff starts to appear, stuff that you might not want to appear starts to appear like outside of the body. So just be aware of that. So we're just gonna see what this does. All right, so yeah, I mean it lost a little bit of that detail, but it still looks fine even at 720 by 720. I actually gave them pants now, which is interesting. But yeah, it's gonna look different. To me, it still looks really cool. It doesn't even look really like Snoop Dogg, but I think it looks close enough. Let me actually test it with a close-up of somebody. All right, so obviously, you know, there's a lot wrong with this still because it's going based off of this. Also, I can probably put up the denoising, but I just wanted to kind of show you what's happening. Obviously, you can see that there's like a lot of details, and obviously the control nets are probably giving it little details that we don't really want on there. But probably the biggest thing is the denoising strength right here. We could bring it up probably more. But as you can see, like obviously the face just looks a lot cleaner when you have a close-up. Like this does look like Snoop Dogg for the most part. And then are you seeing a lot of these colors from the IPAdapter right here? Like a lot of these purples here because of this, which is also like a really cool thing that you can influence the image with. Besides that, here I have some nodes for like upscaling. I have it disabled right now. You could enable them by pressing Control M when you select them, but I'm not really upscaling with that. If I do need to upscale, I do use Topaz AI. It's super easy to use and it's way faster to upscale. The reason why I really would recommend this is because if you're going like really low resolution and your image is going to look very blurry, and then you bring it here to Topaz AI and then you upscale it, and it's going to look way much cleaner and more presentable for like social media or for whatever. I use it like 90% of the time that I do anything. So I'm going to just show you what it can do. I'm upscaling it by 2, so it's going to be 1440 by 1440. It's going to look a lot cleaner. All right, so now it upscaled it, and if we come up close, you're gonna see like how much it actually cleaned it up. You still see a little bit of blurriness, but it's still much cleaner. The line, and this is really zoomed in. So this is just an amazing way to upscale it really quickly. If you're interested in getting this, I am an affiliate of Topaz AI, so there is a link in the description. If you want to support me through that, just go ahead and purchase it. Like I use this all the time. A lot of people use this. It is very useful, and if you don't use it for just this, you use it for so many other things. There's other options like motion to blur, stabilization, frame interpolation. Obviously, I'm going to give you the option to do it through here as well. So that's pretty much it. If there's any other topics that you want me to look into, then I can also try to look into that. But I'm always learning and discovering new things with Comfyui. There's always something new coming out that just improves just the quality of things. So like I will constantly be trying to improve and try to make things better, and I will try to make workflows that I can share with you guys. I am uploading a lot of workflows first on my Patreon. So if you want to get a hold of like the latest workflows that I'm creating, the more current ones that I've been working on, then you can go to my Patreon and access them there. Also, I'm always like uploading stuff there. So just yeah, if you want to support me through Patreon, you can go check out the Patreon. Again, there's a link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because that's gonna really boost this video. It's gonna help me and my channel grow. So please, if you guys can do me that favor, do me that solid, I appreciate it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Like always, take care. God bless. Peace.